Thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody. Let me know if you can't hear me back there, because I know there's a fan and I really appreciate the opportunity to come here and speak with you. I had some prepared remarks, but I dumped it. I think this is a good opportunity for us. Let's talk. Let's get brass tacks. Let's talk about the third party thing. Let's see where we are. I looked at the primary that GOP went through, and quite honestly, from my perspective, it was disgusting. I mean, what we're left with are probably the two weakest candidates out of all those men. And I campaigned with the GOP for months, almost the whole, since they started. And I've been to Tea Party events in 9/12s, and every single one of the men that I thought had merit are gone. And all you're left with now are the establishment candidates that they wanted in the first place. And they had money, they had name recognition, they were legacy candidates, where the GOP knew that they could control them. So with my race, the only thing that you've got left is a non-politician that is an orthodox constitutionalist is me. So we need to try to get away from thinking about third party on a national scale, and then let's look right within our own district, with District 1, what can we do about this race? Because I can tell you, I know these men, I know what I'm up against, and we are a very much stronger candidate. No question. And it's really, really what I want to do is get up here and tell you exactly what you want to hear. What all those GOP guys did, they just said what you wanted to hear, and rah-rah, rah-rah. I'm sorry, but we have been through this before. I mean, after Reagan, small government was reborn, we were all happy, but no, it wasn't, it came back. After 1994, with the contract with America, Clinton said that the era of big government was over, and it's not. And I'm telling you, from an economic standpoint, you will remember me saying this to you. We will not make it through this cycle again. We will not. So we'll get our Republicans out there, they'll get corrupt, and the Democrats come and do the whole thing again. It's not going to work. We're not going to make it. 7 generations prior to the establishment of the Federal Reserve, our dollar gained 11% in value. 7 generations since the Federal Reserve, we have lost 98% of the value in our country. There is no wealth left. And if we go through this process again, we are going to go through an economic collapse. Period. Those are the facts. So that's what we're about. That's why I'm here. I'm here because this is a public service. I'm not into going to Washington, going to Washington or being around those people or any of that. This is something that I think I can contribute. I'm a Navy veteran, and I'm carrying on in that direction. I understand that if you want to end big government, then you turn off the printing press. There is absolutely no way that the government would not contemplate nationalizing industry. Government would not contemplate create incentive programs that they couldn't support from the first place if they didn't think that they could print money. With the Federal Reserve, our government can sustain debt indefinitely. They don't have to worry about the legislation process. They don't have to worry whether you agree or not. They're printing money. Okay, last month, right, we're arguing about whatever Fox or the networks told us to argue about. I think it was immigration. Ron Paul is sitting in the subcommittee of monetary oversight, right? Him and a few staffers. Then a Federal Reserve representative is sitting out there. Nobody else in the room. And Ron Paul is asking them, why are you giving $70 billion or $1 million to Europe? Why? In addition to what we already gave them. And they said, well, because they need it, basically. So, well, where are you going to get that money? Well, we're going to create it. We're going to create it. That is what's going on while we are arguing about nothing. While these Republicans are getting up here and telling you exactly what you want to hear. What's the one thing that they're bipartisan on? The money. Right? You want your Republican Party back, and I know you do. Then you turn off the printing press and you'll get it back. But they're not going to do it. It's only going to come from candidates who are dedicated to doing it. We know exactly where we're going to be. We're already plugged into the system. We know we're going to be with the Liberty Caucus, which is a subgroup of the Republican Caucus. The chairman is Ron Paul. We know we can get placement on any of the committees involved in the Federal Reserve. We will continue to try to open up the books of the Federal Reserve. And when you do that, you, America, will see there is no gold. There is nothing for our money. It is a fiat currency that is tied to nothing. And when you see that, it's over. It's over. You want to get back to economic prosperity, you want to stop the transformation of this country to socialism, then you stop the printing press. And I'm going to say it over and over and over again. That may be my only role. Because if we're just so married to the two-party system, then the only thing I may be here is just a warning to tell you that you will not make it through again. So I don't know. I want to take this opportunity with y'all to talk about this. Let's talk out this third-party thing. What's the, what they have told you as third party is always going to split the conservative base. You're going to get blah, 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 blah. I'm very used to the stock and trade answers. Let's talk it out. Because if we have an opportunity to do it, it's in this district. Because I tell you what, I just think about the debates, and I'm like, these guys don't know anything. I mean, it is clearly the weakest guys. And I want you to know that, and I'm actually willing to say it. So you will see throughout this, and I've been to these things over and over again, and I keep saying this, and I keep saying this, and after a while you're like, they're not going to get it. And it really scares me. I'm not worried so much about my daughter or my wife. I'm worried about my father. Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. It's going to fail. We're not going to make it another 5-10 years before this thing collapses. The Soviet Union was as big as us. They are almost identical in size and scope. And they failed, folks. They failed. And what was the precursor for the failure of the Soviet Union? Afghanistan. So how many times do we have to do this before the savior GOP comes in and saves our country? I love this country. My family has served this country since its inception. I'm not trying to be some sort of radical going against the grain, against the GOP. I want to save it. And I'm the only man in this whole race that is up here talking about how to really do it. Really do it. You think of a bunch of an immigration problem that was solved in the 1950s is the problem of this country? That's millions. Okay, let's go billions. That's nothing compared to trillions. Nothing. So I'm here. We have a direct strategy, and I'm really putting it to you because I really am. I look at the economics all the time. I get my mind out of what they try to distract us with, and I look at the picture, and it is scary. It is downright frightening. And if we don't do something about it now, right now, we're going to go through serious, difficult times as a country. And I appreciate you so much for letting me talk. And as we go into the questions, let's hit it. Let's work it out together. Because this is a good chance. This is an opportunity for us to do that. So thank you. All right, so we'll start.